Welcome to RnG Save the World, and on this episode we are freaking talking about little things and little clues. I've again have a creature. Brian has a very complex and difficult to explain, apparently,
it's not that
conspiracy.
difficult.
It's very difficult. He's very scared. Please don't send hate comments to him when I eventually get this onto YouTube. Probably after the season ends.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's my turn to start this time.
It is, yes.
And I don't even think. You know why? It's because this is directly after the last episode. Doesn't that blow your freaking mind, listeners? You weren't even here. You weren't born.
I don't think our age demographic is quite that low.
No, we're in the 30s. 30, like 30 years old to something. I didn't have any websites pulled up before this, but I got the Wikipedia, which is what I like most. Ryan's been using it. I've been using it. We both think it's a reputable source now. And my topic is the Loch Ness Monster. Possibly the dumbest creature out there because it's named after a lake that's draining. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Well, from what I've heard, Loch Ness is like super deep, so the possibility of there being something in there that no one's seen is probable.
I remember hearing that they have sent like a ton of little gadgets and scanned the lake for it, and they didn't see it. So I'm like almost certain, completely certain, that there is no Loch Ness Monster, but a lot of people are not certain. What are you certain of, Ryan?
That I need food to survive.
That's wrong. If you were the dragon warrior, which you are, you could survive off the dew of a mountain leaf and the energy of the universe.
Bruh. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Do you know what the Dragon Warrior is, Ryan?
I have no idea what the Dragon Warrior is.
It's freaking from Kung Fu Panda.
From Kung Fu Panda. Oh, okay. I just recently watched the first Kung Fu Panda for the first time.
For the first time?
For the first time, yes.
This is why I'm the cultured one. That and other reasons. And you don't know what that means, because you're a country boy.
I can't argue there.
Loch Ness is known as the home of the Loch Ness Monster. Stupid. Also known as Nessie, the creature. A cryptid, reputedly a large unknown animal, not literally based off a dinosaur. It is similar to other supposed lake monsters in Scotland and elsewhere, obviously because dinosaurs and people. Though its description varies from one account to the next, it does not. Popular interest and belief in the animal's existence have varied since it's first brought to the world's attention in 1933. Possibly the dumbest thing ever.
1933?
1933.
That is weird. You know why? Because King Kong came out in 1933.
Oh my goodness.
Is that a coincidence? I think not.
It is. King Kong is Nessie. Now, if you look up like the original picture of Nessie in 1934, you'll see that it looks, it's known to have been a hoax by now. And you'll look at it and you'll see it and you'll be like, now that looks like an arm of a human.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to tell too, because it's hard to tell the scale of the picture too. It kind of just looks like the back of a leaf or something.
I think it's easy to tell the scale of the picture because the waves look like waves from a human's point of view and not from a long range camera point of view, which it would have to be in order to get this little guy. Also, pictures weren't that big, and zoom wasn't that good.
That is true.
I think it's stupid.
You think the picture's stupid?
I think it's stupid, and I think this creature is stupid and doesn't exist. The earliest report of the monster in the vicinity of the Loch Ness appears in the Life of Saint Columba by name, written in the 6th century A.D. What does that mean? What does A.D. mean? Do you know? I don't.
AD is after the death of Christ.
Huh. Weird.
And then BC is before Christ.
What was during Christ? DC? As in DC Comics? They're putting Jesus Christ in DC Comics? What will his powers be?
Oh, gosh.
He'll be Aquaman. He can walk on the water. According to Name, the guy who wrote the article or the newspaper, writing about a century after the events described, what? Irish monk Saint Columba, there's a lot of people with that sort of name, was staying in the land of the Picts. This is Scotland names, and they all suck. With his companions when he encountered local residents burying a man by the River Ness. Oh my goodness. You didn't even know that there was a River Ness. That's like the Loch Ness's baby. They explained that the man was swimming in the river when he was attacked by a water beast that mauled him and dragged him underwater, despite their attempts to rescue him by boat. That's pretty funny.
What is this? This is in the 30s? That says 565.
Around 1933. What?
Why does it say St. Columba 565? And it puts these other guys as 1871 and 1888.
Probably because Scotland. I don't know. You figure out the numbers. I hate numbers. Columba sent a follower, Luigne Moku Min, to swim across the river. The beast approached him, but Columba made the sign of the cross and said, "Go no further. Do not touch the man. Go back at once." The creature stopped as if it had been pulled back with ropes and fled. And Columba's men and the Picts gave thanks for what they perceived to be as a miracle. Do you think that happened?
No, I don't think that happened.
Obviously, yeah. But there's no way.
Are there other things on the River Ness? Like, are there crocodile or alligator in the River Ness?
I don't know.
Because if there are, that's a pretty good culprit right there.
But they made the sign of the cross and they went back, right?
Yeah, that's a tale.
The gators were affected.
That is a story. It's an interesting story.
It is.
I mean, how to make it interesting.
It is. It's kind of fun. It's kind of adventurous. It can be on the tips of my toes a little bit if I was standing, but not true at all. No way. No how. Let's see. Where's the start of this?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that story is from 565 AD.
The year?
The year 565.
Well, that just gives me more reason to disbelieve it.
Yeah, because this says Saint Columba was born, or Columba, whatever his name is, was born in 521. So.
Loser. Didn't even get to quadruple digits.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Wow.
That's pretty sad.
Christopher Kearney uses a specific historical and cultural analysis of Adoman to separate Adoman's story about St. Columba from the modern myth of the Loch Ness Monster. Excuse me. But finds an earlier and culturally significant use of Celtic water-based folklore along the way. In doing so, he also discredits any strong connection between kelpies, or water horses, and the modern media-augmented creation of the Loch Ness Monster. He also concludes that the story of St. Columba may have been impacted by earlier Irish myths about the Caranac and the oil feist. That's crazy names. Much cooler than Nessie or Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. So is he...
Kelpies are crazy.
Or Kelpies?
By the way. They're like freaking... They can be humans, but they can be horses. And if they're horses, they try to get you on their back, and then they run you into the water and drown you.
That is very strange. It's like sirens, I guess, kind of. Like a type of siren.
No, not like sirens. Sirens sing. And then they pull you. They make you swim towards them, and then they drown you.
Oh, it's a similar concept, though.
It is a similar concept. Usually, water stuff is is pretty similar.
Yeah, can't be very creative, you know.
It'd be super easy to be creative. I'll make one up right now. Water beast, the Atlantic Ocean monster. It looks like a dinosaur and is stupid. That's pretty creative.
Oh yeah, that's very creative.
Now, if I had to make one, it'd be like seaweed. It'd be like seaweed.
A type of seaweed
because
that
it'd
grabs
be
you.
modern day. Huh?
Like a seaweed that'll like grab you and pull you into the water.
Yeah, kind of like that. Because you think like modern day people have to have something like people don't know stuff. They just know it. So in order to make fear, you have to take something that happens and then make it scarier. So like scuba divers, more than you would think, get tangled up in seaweed and then run out of oxygen and die. Mm-hmm. So you just make a seaweed creature.
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Put it in a
Except
book.
now it's a bad idea because I just revealed it.
Oh yeah, it's not secret anymore.
In 1888, Mason, so even before 1933 or whatever, which was its first, and I guess after 565, which was the St. Columba thing. In 1888, Mason Alexander MacDonald of Abercon sighted a large stubby-legged animal surfacing from the loch and propelling itself within 50 yards of the shore where MacDonald stood. Now, he had a farm, all right? MacDonald's reported his sightings to Loch Ness water bailiff Alex Campbell, a normal name, and described the creature as looking like a salamander. Nothing like a dinosaur, because salamanders just look like lizards. So maybe it was a big lizard.
Maybe it was a salamander. Maybe he had too much to drink and he saw it as bigger than it was.
That reminds me, I swear, I've seen just a huge salamander recently.
Iguana or salamander?
Salamander was in the water.
Don't typically salamanders not get very big?
Salamander. There are giant salamanders. There. Look up huge salamander in the images category. It should be 5. 5 ones down. It's a YouTube video. It's this giant salamander. That's the one I saw. Ones like that. They're just huge.
Oh, yeah.
There's Chinese giant salamanders, apparently.
They are pretty
They're
big.
enormous.
Maybe that is what he saw.
That could have been, yeah.
You're like, oh, look at
Because-
a giant salamander. I'm like, yes, it's a giant salamander.
I would think that's mythical if I didn't know that giant salamanders just existed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never seen one that big. That's crazy.
I would eat it. Do salamanders make mucus that's poisonous?
I'm not sure.
Or is it just frogs? Don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about it. Do you want to start yours now, or do you have anything you want to add to this one?
I'll add that I think he actually saw a giant salamander
Probably.
and not a Loch Ness monster.
It does depend, maybe, on where they're located, but there's an enormously bigger chance that he saw a salamander than a monster.
Yeah, then an odd,
Than a
completely
creature.
unknown and unseen since monster.
Yep.
I guess we can end on that. It was a salamander. Debunked.
It was almost definitely a salamander, or something similar.
Okay, so my conspiracy for
Okay.
you is the phantom time hypothesis. Hypotenuse.
Which just sounds really cool. It's like the cooler version of a phantom toll booth, which is cool in itself. Anything that uses phantom is epic in my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
except for cringy stuff.
Okay, well, this says this conspiracy says that the Dark Ages didn't really exist. The years between 1614 and 911. They never happened, apparently, according to this thing. Let's see. I think the king at the time. This doesn't tell me here. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. The Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and possibly Byzantine Emperor Constantine the something, 5th, 6th, I don't know. They fabricated the Anno Domini dating system retroactively in order to replace them into the special year of 1000 AD and rewrite history. So basically they wanted to rule in 1000 AD instead of whatever year they were in, so they just changed it, and that's what it says. So they're saying it's probably the phantom time period is about 296 years, which would put us today in the 1700s.
I am slightly confused.
Or just over 1700. I guess it would be like 1800s now when this was published.
So did they go backwards in time or forwards?
Forwards, because they would have put this in place about
Forwards.
614.
That is interesting and credible, I have to say. I would believe it if I weren't skeptic.
So yeah, that would put
Like-
us that would put us in 1726 currently.
That's pretty nice. I would prefer that to 2000. I have to say. When would you be born? When would I have been born?
I don't know. Let's see, minus.
I can't do the math. I'll just be on the same year as you. So
That would make me like
Right?
1705.
Me too.
About. So yeah, that'd be
Something
actually
around
pretty
there.
cool. And the weird
Right?
thing about this is, it's very hard to disprove, at the same time very hard to prove. Because
Yeah.
with the year being so early, like 1614, if the main leaders of that time decided to skip a couple years, man, no one would know.
Yeah, it just would have happened, and like if they made that there was no record of it, they're there's likely to be no record of it
Mm-hmm.
because that's just how powerful they were at the time.
Yeah.
And now we have the president, and he says things like, "I'm Joe Biden's husband."
But we're still in the 1700s. That'd be super cool because like everything we know about history would be completely wrong as far as dates go. So all those dates you memorized in school, completely false, complete fabrication.
Yeah.
All of it's wrong.
And it has cooler numbers in the year.
It does, yeah.
I would love to be in a 17 instead of a 20.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
This is so much. It's much more dynamic.
You know what that would mean too,
to
though,
say.
right?
What?
The Gregorian calendar system, which the world was supposed to end in 2011 or something.
Wow.
That hasn't happened
It would
yet. That's
still
still
be
like
in place.
300, almost 300 years in the future. A little less than 300.
We have to stay alive for that long to see if it really does happen.
Yeah. You gotta live to over 100 there.
I can. I'll just freeze myself.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You should do that.
And, they'll want to unfreeze me.
You gotta live another 306 years.
I'll just put my... on the topic of living longer and freezing, have you seen those little chambers that people walk into and then they're like, "Oh, we're going to drop the air to -1 million below your head"? Have you seen them?
No.
They're like, "Yeah, it helps you with so much like stress and fatigue." And it's like, you just like almost froze a person. They're going to feel relieved and they're going to have, what is it called? Adrenaline. They're going to have adrenaline, so they're not going to feel fatigue.
Yeah, that's funny.
And I understand it. Like, I completely understand it as an after workout thing. Like, because cold showers help with muscle not being sore and hurty. So that would help. But obviously, you would just take a cold shower.
Yeah, instead of your whole body frozen.
Yeah. Because, like, for one, it's incredibly expensive for even one trip into it.
I bet you in the future, like maybe 2 or 3 years from now, it'll be like, if your loved one was froze from the head down, you are entitled to compensation. Call this number.
No, Ryan, it's completely safe.
Yeah.
Nothing bad
They
can
always
happen for
say.
freezing your body for a little bit.
That's what they always say. It's safe until
Yeah.
everyone dies. And then we gotta...
You have to wear underwear in it. They're specific about that.
Okay, then. That's too much information.
You don't have to wear gloves, though.
Okay.
You would expect your fingers to freeze off.
Yeah, what if you get,
wouldn't
like, frostbite or something?
I would think you would, but apparently they just do it for so short of an amount of time that it doesn't really matter.
That's weird.
Which is like, then obviously the cold shower is the better option.
Yeah, how do you know they did anything at that point? If it's really short, they might just like
because you have adrenaline and relief.
you're in a machine from your head down. You have no idea what's about to happen.
No.
You paid a lot of money
got
for it, so
changed
you're hoping
now.
it's worth it.
Like in Doctor Who, where they changed the people to robots and then they changed the brains to robots.
Yeah. Yeah.
That episode, those episodes were upsetting because I could see it happening. Anyway, back to the time skip. Time skip. That's the thing that happens to a lot of shows. Maybe they just did it thinking that they would get older.
Maybe,
Because
or maybe
they had media back then.
Maybe they just did it to feel like they lived longer. Because if you skipped a couple hundred years
maybe.
and just be like, well, we're still alive, to history. I mean, obviously to them, they would be like, yeah, we just made that up. But also the weird part of this hypothesis is it claims that Charlemagne did not exist.
I don't know who or what that is.
Okay, well, I'm pulling up the Wikipedia article for you.
You don't know what that means?
It was
Charlemagne?
Charlemagne is French, or his name is Charles the Great.
Oh.
Apparently, he was a king from 768.
Emperor.
No, that's incorrect. Yeah, okay.
It doesn't-
768
oh, is he
to
not an emperor?
814.
Maybe I'm on a different one.
He
He was king of the Franks from 768, king of the Lombards from 774, and emperor of the... I'm not on the Wikipedia. Did he
okay.
become an emperor?
Maybe.
This
picture
guy
it
is seeming
shows.
unreal.
Well, okay. The picture shows a denarius
Emperor of the Romans.
of Charlemagne dated 812 to 814. So that kind of throws a whole wrench in the whole phantom time theory, because this coin still exists today and it is dated in that phantom time period.
They just actually put numbers on them because...
Yeah, I mean, okay, here's possible for the whole time skip thing. Maybe whoever made the coins knew that the time they, quote unquote, they time skipped, and they thought that was dumb, so they continued on counting. And so then they dated that as 812 and 814, and then maybe, since it was such high people up there that changed it to 1,000, maybe the history books state it just went to 1,000. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not exactly plausible. Well, I mean, it is plausible, but it's not exactly a very sound argument.
Mean, what if that was just the batches of coins? What if that was part of batches? Because they grouped the batches. They wouldn't make one batch. They had to make one batch separate batches. What if that was batches for a part of batches 812 to 814?
Okay, hold on. You know what? I think this doesn't have a date on it. I think like scientists dated it 812 to 814.
Oh.
Because I do not see a date on this, which could have been quote unquote correct. But if they had skipped forward, it would have been like in the thousands when it was a thing.
True.
Of course, Charlemagne was only king. Well, was king from 768 to 1814, so that's probably why it's dated in that range.
Well, he was king of the Franks from 768, king of the Lombards from 774, and then emperor of the Romans from 800. So, not quite sure on the king thing, Ryan. He became an emperor at some point, which is crazy.
Yeah, just go from king from emperor. I mean,
it's like that one dude I told you about who was like, I'm the emperor of the United States, and he was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty weird.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
I would do it if I thought it would work today.
Yeah, it would not work today.
I think I would get death threats.
Possibly. It's possible.
I think it's probable. There's too many people on the internet. I'm going to cut it down. Cut down the internet. That's a meme. Anyway.
This says Louis the Pious was his successor, 813 to 840, which does throw another wrench into this theory here. If that's his reign time, because the theory is from 1614 to basically 1,000 was skipped.
What if they just lied again?
It is possible. The history back then, is kind of a jumbled mess because, it's so old that there's not a ton of credible information out there, probably.
And I don't trust historians that have no way of knowing.
Yeah, they make hypotheses.
And then we're taught them in school like they're real.
Yeah.
When really, who knows if Emperor Nemo was actually a violinist or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Is there a book that said that? I want the sources. Why do textbooks never cite their sources?
Because they don't have to, man. They're not in school. If you're in school, you got to cite your sources, but they are the school.
They'll include little pictures, and they'll be like, "This is what this is from." But maybe I'm just not looking at the textbook good enough. But I've never seen, a comprehensive. This is where this is from.
Yeah, typically it's not there. That's why.
And that's why we should do a time skip again. We'll feed everyone mushrooms. We'll put mushrooms in the water, and then we'll scream nightmare, nightmare, nightmare at them. And then, boom, time skip. We're in 2323.
Yep. It'll work out.
It will.
Probably work out.
I wish I had more to say on this, but it's just crazy confusing to me. So I'm just kind of taking a backseat to this.
It is confusing, yeah. It's like there's not enough information really onto it. Most of it's just skepticism, which
it is one of my favorites that we've done.
But I don't know. I want it to be real. I want it to be real. So we're living in 1700, but it's hard with there being dates of the 800s years.
I really want it to be real so that we can maybe figure out that it's real, and then I can die knowing that they're gonna have another freak out about the calendar.
Yeah, yeah. You just go to your grave with that in like 2011 or 12 or whatever.
That would make my life.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Oh man.
Well, I think that's all we got for this episode.
Probably, yeah. That was our first. Was it our first day doing 2 episodes in one day?
Yes, it was.
That's crazy. You know what else is crazy? Our listeners. See you, suckers. I love you to death.
Bye.
Bye.